This is part 2 of the trail running tier list, and this is where things get interesting. First up is the Ferrari of trail running shoes, the Adidas Terrex Agravic Speed Ultra. This is pure speed and emotion. Spec-wise, you're getting a full Lightstrike Pro midsole, aggressive rocker geometry, and Adidas's Energy Rod setup. Stack is 42mm in the heel and 34 in the forefoot, giving you an 8mm drop. But because of the extreme rocker, it rides very differently than those numbers suggest. Weight is right around 260 grams in a men's US 10, and retail sits at roughly $230 to $250. If you imagine driving a supercar, the car wouldn't be comfortable in slow city traffic. The same rules apply for this shoe. It wants to propel you forward at all times, and it does, but only if you match its intent. For midfoot and forefoot strikers, the Lightstrike Pro midsole combined with the aggressive rocker creates non-stop forward momentum. This is not a shoe that rewards cautious running. It's a trail shoe, but you can forget the very technical terrain. It demands easier and more runnable terrain like fire roads, hardpack, and non-technical ultra courses. The heel is minimal, stability is limited for heel strikers, the fit is narrow, and the lugs are shallow. But those aren't necessarily flaws. They're intentional compromises made in favor of speed, efficiency, and weight savings. If you're a mid-foot or forefoot striker running fast ultras on runnable terrain, this is one of the most efficient trail shoes you can buy right now, and that's why it belongs in S tier. Not because of its versatility, but because it's excellent in its category. Next up is one of the most talked about trail shoes of 2025, the Salomon S-Lab Ultra Glide, a max stack, plateless S-Lab shoe built for ultra distances and long days on the trail. Not speed, not racing hype, but comfort over time. Spec-wise, you're looking at a 41mm heel and 35 in the forefoot for a 6mm drop. Weight comes in at around 305 grams in a men's US 10, and retail is a steep $250. So yes, this is Salomon's most cushioned S-Lab shoe ever, and one of their most expensive. On the trail, the ride is soft, smooth, and extremely forgiving. The dual foam midsole gives you deep cushioning with good stability, and the rocker keeps things rolling nicely. The new Relieve Sphere geometry does reduce pressure underfoot, especially on flatter and moderate terrain. Stability is surprisingly good for such a tall shoe thanks to the massive sidewalls, but agility takes a hit. This is not a shoe for fast technical terrain. The upper is comfortable and durable, but runs snug and low in the toe box, and breathability is below average. It's built for mid-pack trail runners who value comfort over speed. But here's the issue. At $250, the performance doesn't justify the price. So while it's a genuinely good long-distance cruiser, the value just isn't there. So we'll have to put it in B tier. Next up is one of the most advanced trail racers on the market right now, the HOKA Tecton X3, a full PIBA, carbon-plated trail shoe built for long-distance racing where efficiency, speed, and protection matter most. Spec-wise, you're looking at a 40mm heel and 35 in the forefoot for a 5mm drop. Weight comes in at around 275 grams in a men's US 10. Retail is $275, putting it firmly at the very top end of trail shoe pricing. On the trail, the ride is fast, bouncy, and highly energetic. The full PIBA midsole delivers serious rebound, and the dual parallel carbon plates give you propulsion without killing trail adaptability. One of the best plate setups ever done for trails. The integrated ankle gaiter is a standout feature. The upper is lightweight, secure, and more forgiving than previous versions, with more forefoot space and excellent heel lockdown. The trade-off is that the PIBA bounce won't be for everyone. On more technical terrain, it can feel a bit too soft and lively. Performance-wise, this shoe is absolutely in that S-tier conversation. It's a legit trail super shoe for long distances on runnable to moderately technical terrain. But at $275, and as it is heavier than the Tecton X2, it's really hard to give it a clear S-tier stamp. Final placement is a strong A tier. Next up is the Brooks Caldera 8, and this is not a fast trail shoe. This is a long-distance, recovery-focused trail runner, built for days when comfort, stability, and trust matter more than pace. Spec-wise, you're getting 38.5mm in the heel and 32.5 in the forefoot, with a 6mm drop. Weight is roughly 300 grams in a men's US 9, and retail sits at $150. On the trail, the Caldera 8 feels calm, stable, and extremely predictable. The DNA Loft V3 midsole isn't explosive or bouncy. Instead, it's soft, controlled, and very forgiving, especially over long distances when your legs start to fade. Stability is where this shoe really shines. The wide platform and sidewalls keep everything planted. The shoe never feels sketchy or demanding. The TrailTac green outsole delivers reliable grip on easy to moderate terrain, and the smooth rocker helps the shoe roll forward naturally without forcing your stride. This is a shoe you reach for when you want zero drama and maximum confidence. The Caldera 8 absolutely earns its place in a serious trail rotation. It's not here to win races or set PRs, it's here to get you through long runs, recovery days, and back-to-back trail mileage without beating you up. To me, this is one of the best long-distance comfort trail shoes available right now. I'll put it in S tier because it's so dependable. The Caldera 8, with something like the Speed Ultra as a faster alternative, would be a really solid combination. Next up is the Inov8 Trailfly Max, and this one really surprised me. On paper, this should be a comfortable, long-distance daily trail trainer. In reality, it has some serious flaws. Spec-wise, you're looking at 35mm in the heel and 29 in the forefoot for a 6mm drop. Weight is roughly 290 grams in a men's US 9, and retail sits around $170. On the run, the first impression is actually pretty positive. The Flyspeed Pro midsole feels cushioned and protective, and the Boomerang insole adds some step-in comfort and a bit of rebound. But once you get off smooth ground, the problems start showing up. The heel cup is shallow, and the collar sits low, which means the heel never feels properly locked in. On descents or off-camber terrain, the rear foot feels vague and unstable. Grip is another letdown. Yes, it uses graphene grip, which is durable, but the lug pattern and layout just don't do it. On loose or uneven terrain, traction feels inconsistent, and combined with the unstable heel, it forces you to slow down when you really shouldn't have to. And while the forefoot is roomy, the overall platform feels oddly mismatched, wide up front and narrow in the heel, which only makes that rear instability more noticeable, especially when fatigue sets in. So where does it land? For me, the Inov8 Trailfly Max drops into D tier. Next up is one of the wildest trail shoes on the market, the ASICS Metafuji Trail. This is not a daily trainer. This is a full-on trail super shoe, built for speed, efficiency, and racing on runnable terrain. Spec-wise, you're looking at 44mm in the heel and 39 in the forefoot for a 5mm drop. One of the highest stacks ever in a trail shoe. Weight comes in around 270 grams in a men's US 10, and retail is a steep $250. You get a full-length carbon plate combined with FF Turbo and FF Blast plus super foams. On the run, the Metafuji Trail is fun, really fun. The forefoot cushioning is massive, and combined with the rocker and carbon plate, it creates an incredibly fast toe-off, especially if you're a mid or forefoot striker running at speed. But unfortunately, this shoe is extremely terrain and pace dependent. The heel is narrow and soft, which makes it unstable on technical terrain or steep downhills. When you're pushing the pace on smooth trails, the Metafuji Trail feels like it's doing the work for you. The bounce, the roll, the snap, everything just locks in. But the moment you slow down, get tired, or the trail turns sketchy, the shoe flips on you fast. If you nail its exact lane, the performance is honestly insane. If you don't, it can feel risky. Therefore, I'll have to drop it from S to A tier.